Hello, everybody. AJ left me on my own, so hopefully I'm starting this up the way it's supposed to start it, and you can hear me, and that's good. Weather Extra. What's up, everybody? If you are watching this from my page, I don't see the comments from my page. I'm not ignoring you, I promise. I usually get back and will comment afterwards, but good evening to you all. Oh, purple haze tonight. Yes. That picture from Jennifer Smith Blake, but I had that picture and about 100 more I could have put up here. I picked one to share on air tonight, and this is the one I'm going to use. And some incredible looks this evening. We had some severe weather in Jackson and DeKalb County earlier today, between about 4 and 6, some gusty winds. There was some hail, large and heavy rain, and there was some trees down reported in the section area. We're going to have more on that coming up at 10. It was a very isolated event, but still had an impact in Jackson and DeKalb County. Then we had another blossoming downpour with some lightning that impacted western Madison into areas right up to I-65. Then it just fizzled out. But what it did do, though, was as the sun was going down, when the sun gets closer to the horizon, a lot of times, like if we have dust or particles in the air, it can enhance those sunrise or sunset looks, make them really pink. But what happens is when you put that light into water, where the shower was, what happens is it gives it a pink hue, and then you back it up to a blue sky. Pink and blue make purple, and you get this incredible purple haze. And this is just one, like I said, of 100 pictures I got tonight, and they were all pretty cool. In fact, that was happening when the rain shower was affecting areas just south of where that picture was taken by Jennifer. So cool stuff, made for a really cool end to the day, and it was the hottest day of 2025. We knew that Wednesday was probably going to be the top of the mountain. Feel like temperatures got as high as I think 109 in Florence today. The actual air temperature was 97 in Huntsville, Shoals. I think Decatur was 96. So yeah, it was really hot and really humid as advertised. The heat advisory continues for Thursday and Friday, but not as hot. It's still going to be gross. The humidity is still high, but the temperature is going down. So 94 Thursday, 91 Friday, but still with the humidity enough to warrant a heat advisory with feel like temperatures that will be close to 100 degrees or a little bit higher. So not much in the way of relief from the heat. It's just like, instead of just being like gaudy upper 90s, it's like low to mid 90s instead. But it is an improvement, which is good. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Hey, Adam from Fort Payne checking in. We got missed both days with the rainfall today. Yeah, that was an interesting little cell in DeKalb County today. So what happened was there was one in Albertville about 3 o'clock. That fizzled out and rained itself out quickly. There was a little lightning. It was warned, I think, for like a hot second. And then there was another one that formed just west of you in Fort Payne, and it was drifting west. And then the outflow boundary took it north, and then the warning popped to the north on it. And then Stevenson had some really strong winds. There was an 18-wheeler at it looks like a rest area that was tipped over, actually. I think it was more like quarter-size hail, probably, with some heavy rainfall. Saw some pictures of some manufactured homes and mobile homes that had some damage, but some trees down. And Section Fire on Facebook was posting a whole bunch of stuff, and I know Margot's putting some of that stuff together so we can verify essentially the severe thunderstorm warnings that were issued by the National Weather Service. That storm, that little cluster of rain that popped west of Madison, that never was warned. It had a special weather statement on it for the winds and for the rain, for the winds mainly, and some small hail. But yeah, I mean, just a very summer-like pattern. You heat it up during the day, you fire up a few downpours in the afternoon, but that radar is quiet now. Just a little ground clutter that you see, that blue color there. And not much happening on the radar right now. Adam says, hopefully we'll get a good shower tomorrow. And Adam, that's a great segue into the forecast. So let's talk about that, because it'll be a repeat performance tomorrow of today, except just not quite as hot. Temperatures right now hovering around 80 degrees, 85 in the Shoals. I had a brief shower in northwest Huntsville, and it didn't cool the air at all because it was very light, but all it did was just magnify the humidity. And I went home to have dinner, and I walked outside, and I was like, oh, this is gross. Temperatures tonight, low to mid 70s. The feel like temperatures still at this hour are still in the 90s for areas west. That's where we had no rain at all. Florence, 96, Russellville, 94. You see some 70s east, like in Fort Payne, 76. And That's because you did have a little bit of a cool down with some of the showers and storms in the vicinity of your area. It's still 93 in Fayetteville right now. It's really warm. Let me take this full so you can see it better. Sorry. So here's the temperature and heat index for tomorrow. And remember, I showed you this graphic last night for Wednesday, and it had like 107 in the pink boxes. Now, forecast for tomorrow is about 99 at 2 p.m. I think some areas will hit 100 though. So the red box is the actual air temperature, and then the purple box is the heat index value or the feels like temperature. And I think you could maybe bump this up just a degree or two, but nonetheless, it gives you an idea of not quite as hot tomorrow, but still gross, right? So heat advisory continues through Friday. So even though the temperatures won't be as hot, the combination of the humidity and heat will still make it pretty uncomfortable. And the National Weather Service doing a good job of extending that heat advisory through Friday. One way you can get a little relief is pop a thunderstorm, or maybe you get some downpours in your area. The coverage today was minimal, but it was still packed a punch for areas east, obviously. We go into the end of the week. We do it again tomorrow. I think the activity will once again favor Jackson County, northeast Alabama. Anything that drifts south and west will be weakening towards Huntsville, but chance for some storms tomorrow. But the higher chance of storms in that 10-day forecast will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And yesterday I talked about the weekend being more of an afternoon storm event, and I want to take that back just a bit because it does look like there'll be some showers during the morning both days as well. So clouds and rain will keep the temperatures down to around 90. It's still going to be incredibly humid for the weekend, just not as hot. And then the unsettled pattern continues for next week, and that's Monday and Tuesday. And that puts us on what? The 30th and the 1st. That'll be some heavy rain on Monday and Tuesday. Those storms look to continue for Wednesday and Thursday. And now you're starting to get closer to the July 4th holiday, which is on Friday of next week, and the 5th and the 6th. And I'm sure being on a Friday, everyone's going to have at least a 3-day weekend, I would imagine. And give us some time on the back end of that 10-day forecast. Might be able to take some of that rain out for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I hope we can, because that means the 4th of July would be dry. But yeah, a couple different scenarios how it plays out for the tail end of the 10-day. But through Tuesday, it does look like we could be looking at a tremendous amount of rain Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Because anything that forms, any storms that pop or any showers that develop, they're going to be heavy rainmakers through that period because it's just going to be really humid the entire time. So temperatures around 90 degrees probably seem like a little bit of a break though, right? Shay says, "Good evening, Captain Jeff. We still haven't gotten a drop from an isolated shower yet. A lot of people, sinus pressure on the upper nose and head still raging. Grass pollen and mold still crazy high." Yeah, Chase lives in the Florence area, northwest Alabama, and there were a few showers in the vicinity yesterday morning, but one area that really hasn't had much rain the last couple of days, or even back in the weekend, was your area. I mean, there are some areas that have been absolutely soaked at times since that time frame. So a lot of times with these summer areas of convection or downpours, it can be so extremely isolated. Like it poured on the Greenbrier Algo camera when I was watching that little rain lightning thing work across Madison County, moving west, because everything's been moving west lately. And it never really made it to Decatur's camera. I could see the lightning, but it never really made it there, and I didn't see any raindrops on the camera. So it's such a fine line this time of year, who gets rain and who doesn't. A lot of times, it's not stratiform rain where like it just coats all the Tennessee Valley at one time. It's these little like cells here and there, and it pours in one place, and the town next door to it might not get nothing. It's just the way it works. It can be kind of crazy like that. Retta, it was a beautiful sky. I was mesmerizing by the beauty. I love that you were mesmerized. I was mesmerized by how many pictures I got of it. I put like one picture up. I put a picture of the webcam up. And then I got a picture from someone, Jennifer, and I posted that, and it was like dominoes. Everyone was like, look at this, look at this, look at this. And I was like, wow, I answered everybody back. But I obviously can't show 100 pictures on air for the weather hit, because then people who don't really care about this beautiful sunset, that was awesome, probably will be very mad at me for not giving a forecast. But Jason says it was hot. Truck said it was hot. My truck said 104 twice today. Wow. Yeah, and you know, I thought there was an outside chance today that a location could maybe hit 100 degrees. I don't think we had that. I didn't check at the final totals yet. I usually do it right before I go on air at 10. But Last I checked, the highest temperature I could find was 97. Now, sometimes in your vehicle will be a little hotter than what the actual air temperature is, but it gives you a basic idea of how hot it is, right? If your thermometer in your truck or your temperature gauge, whatever it is, says 104, that's serious, right? Very hot stuff, very hot. Adam says, glad to see a break from the mid-90s. Yeah, and that's where we're at right now, right, my friend? Like, okay, whew, no more 97 and 98. It's just 94, 92, right? Yeah. That heat we had today, we knew, like Eric and I talked on Monday, like crossing paths, because he's mornings and I'm nights right now, but we exchanged emails back and forth, and we both were like, Wednesday's going to be brutal. and sure enough, we tried to play it up a bit to let you know that it was going to be one of those days where, like, it just felt different today. Like, when you went outside, it was like, usually I can handle it. It doesn't really bother me, but I had to run some errands this morning. I had to go down to beautiful Gunnersville, and I was there for a little while and drove back, and I mean, every time I stepped out of the truck, it was like, it was rough. I don't know how the people outside that have to work outside do it, like construction people and everything. Like, I saw some guys working on a roof today. I said that the other day, roofers. Oh my gosh, you know how hot it must be on that roof? Put all that, I feel like asphalt, they put the shingles, put them up there. I don't know what they're called. They're black though. I mean, I got to think that even makes it hotter on the roof. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a roofer. I never will be. I'm afraid of heights. But I couldn't even imagine trying to work outside all day. I mean, you got to take breaks. You got to drink water. You got to stay hydrated. You start feeling faint. You got to take a break. You know, it's tough. Christine Tinker from beautiful Bryant. You know what's crazy, Christine Tinker? You live in beautiful Bryant, and I don't think that storm ever made it to you. It kind of meandered all over Jackson County, but it never really quite made it to you in Bryant. I think it stopped short and then kind of went west. And then it looked like it was going to pop a storm near Pleasant Groves, beautiful Pleasant Groves. If you've never been there before, in the Woodville area, it's gorgeous. But anyway, it looked like it was going to pop something there, and it was a downpour, and then that fizzled. But there was still a boundary that was moving west. It picked up a little bit more west of Madison, kind of hopped over Huntsville. But yeah, I don't think that storm ever made it to you today, Christine Tinker. You would know better than I would. So, hi, Evelyn. Good to see you. Watching from Coleman. Beautiful Coleman, too. Not much rain for you today in Coleman, right? You had some rain the other day, but just kind of hot in Coleman. And Coleman's big. So, like, to miss out on the rain in such a big county, that's kind of impressive. But I don't think that first cell from Albertville ever made it to you. It fizzled too quickly. So I don't think you're going to get much rain tomorrow in Coleman County either. I think you got to wait for Friday and the weekend, but we'll see how it plays out. Certainly going to watch that closely. Adam says, hopefully the mud won't be dehydrated for too long. Yeah, I hope not. You don't want that mud to get thirsty. No, you don't. My late husband was a roofer. Lots of water, Evelyn says. See, so Evelyn knows. She knows, right? I just, you know, I'm watching all the, like, we have, like, obviously it's like construction zone city across the Tennessee Valley right now. A lot of different construction projects taking place, and I'm driving today. Like I said, I went down to Gunnersville, and they're repaving. So if you come down 431 past Cathedral Caverns, and you get down to where Scottsboro Highway meets up with 431 at that intersection right there, they're repaving the roads all the way from essentially Cathedral Caverns all the way down to the bridge. I mean, there's different parts of it, and they have it closed down to like one lane at times and stuff like that. And I'm watching them work, and I'm driving by them, and I started sweating. Like, I was in the AC of the truck, and I was like, gosh, I could just see it on their faces. They were like, you know, but that's a tough job to have right now. You know, tough job anyway, period, but even more so on a day like today. Carl went down, and he was covering the golf tournament there in Burning Tree. If you've never been to that course, it's gorgeous. I'm not a golfer, I'm a hacker, but beautiful course. But like he was saying yesterday before he went to go cover it today, he was like, you know, that's a one golf course that has like no shade. And he's right, it's all open. And I'm sure he was baking out there today. I couldn't even imagine. Carl's a trooper, though. Carl's a trooper. Hi, Arthur from Cherokee. We appreciate you watching from Cherokee. That's awesome. Thank you so much for saying hi. Jason says, I do roofing sometimes, and it was rough, but you get used to it. You build up a tolerance, right? Yeah, I mean, you have to, I imagine. I mean, that's rough. I mean, you're up there, up high like that, like sun just baking you all day. Evelyn says, my weather bug said it was 102 today, but I think that's what it said. I was in Hartselle working. Yeah, and you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if a few locations maybe did push 100. Now, obviously, we get a lot of our temperatures from the airports, but you know, maybe a more rural area, especially like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine like being near a cornfield today. Like that just enhances the humidity. Transpiration, I think that's the right word. Extra water vapor in the atmosphere. Bleh. Lori's in from Coventry, Rhode Island with a little heart. Up in Rhode Island, it's hot for you too, right? Making national news this week. It's not just in the deep south. I mean, this goes all the way up in the Great Lakes in Canada. Like up in Maine the other day. I think yesterday I was on air in Bangor, Maine. Like northern Maine was 96 degrees. Away from the coast, inland, just heated it up. That's hot stuff up there. It's crazy. Scholar says, what about Tuesday? Any severe threat? Like 6 days away, bro. I can tell you this. Every single day that we have a storm chance on there, the chance for gusty winds, heavy rain, and small hail certainly there. Whether they hit criteria for severe or not, I don't know that. Could we pop a storm that produces 60-mile-an-hour winds like we did today in DeKalb and Jackson County? Of course we could. You know, widespread severe weather? Probably not. But still an impact. You know, if your wind's 50 miles an hour and doesn't qualify as a severe weather or severe thunderstorm, it's still going to cause some damage 50 miles an hour. So I think I would be weather alert throughout the entire 10-day forecast at any time these storms pop. And they've been really isolated the last couple of days, but the areas that have been hit, like today, like I said, Jackson County, DeKalb County, especially in Stevenson area, hit hard. And then the other night, was it Sunday night, we had that heavy rainfall in Tony and Harvest in that apartment complex that got flooded. Had some wind damage in Lawrence County on Sunday night too. You know, it's isolated, but it still impacts those areas that were hit. And that can definitely happen the next couple of days for sure. William, we want to go to Spring Valley Beach in Bluntsville on Saturday. Will it storm all day? I see a 40% chance. Yeah, 40 doesn't mean yes and 60 no. That's not how the percentages work. It means the coverage of the area 40% will have rainfall. So thunderstorms are for sure going to happen. It's just whether or not they hit Bluntsville or not, right? I was feeling like Saturday and Sunday were more afternoon showers and thunderstorms yesterday. I don't feel that way anymore. I think they'll be, in fact, it might be a good thing, but bad for your plans, is that Saturday and Sunday morning looks like there could be a period of just some showers in the morning. If that's how it plays out, that means most of the day will be wet both days this weekend. It will also mean that we will not hit 89 or 90 on those days. We'll probably be more like 84 or 85. But it looks pretty wet for the weekend right now, especially in the afternoons. But I still think there'll be some showers in the morning too. So, Skylar, I don't know yet. That's on Tuesday, so that's a long way away. I don't think there would be any tornadoes at this time. It would be more of a wind event and rain event, but yeah, that's a long way off. Get back to me on Sunday. I'll be here on Sunday too. But if there's any kind of like widespread severe weather threat for Tuesday, we'll zero in on that when we get a little bit closer to the day. So keep an eye on it for you though, I promise. Tammy says, thank you for answering my question earlier. Tammy, you're very welcome. I appreciate you messaging me. I appreciate that a lot. It was kind of hard to tell without a picture. She was asking about the clouds today. There was a cloud, like a line of clouds that went through. And she was asking what kind of clouds they were. And she sent me a satellite image of it. And I think it was just some cirrus clouds, but definitely enough to catch your attention. I appreciate you asking me about it. I thought that was pretty cool. I usually try to answer people back pretty fast through Messenger. Sometimes I'm a little slow. My sleeping schedule is a little weird right now. I usually go to bed at 6 o'clock, 6:30, wake up at 2 o'clock for morning shift. I have completely changed that. I'm going to bed at like 2 in the morning, waking up at like 8 or 9, and then I try to stay up before I come to work at night. And then I go back to mornings on Sunday. So Sunday I'm going to be a zombie on air. Like I'm going to be like, yeah, it's going to rain. I'm going to be so tired. I do have Saturday off though, which is great. So the schedule for the rest of the week, Eric Burke will be with you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed tomorrow morning, starts at 4:30, and then I'm here for Brad Thursday and Friday night. So it's Eric, me through the end of the week. And then on Saturday, I don't have a clue who's working. I think Eric morning and maybe Eric at night too. I'm not sure. I didn't even check that far yet because I just know Jeff's off that day. And then I come back Sunday morning, and I think Brad's here Sunday night. So I think that's the way the schedule works for the rest of the week. We got you covered, though. That is for sure. Hi, Tegan. My day was good. Thank you for asking me. That's so sweet of you. We already talked on Facebook Messenger because you were asking me about the storm threat in Albertville. And now I know exactly where you live in Albertville, too. We tried to figure it out because there was a storm near Tegan today, and she wasn't getting any rain. I was like, you must be over here. She's like, I am. Skylar says, oh, I heard that Canada had tornado warnings today. They did. And what's really weird is yesterday, too, in Montreal, they had severe thunderstorm warnings. And I want to say the severe thunderstorm warnings were all the way up in Quebec, too, but I'm not sure about that. But, yeah, that is odd, just so everybody knows. That's not usual. Toronto, maybe. Montreal, a little different. William says, thank you, sir. Unfortunately, it's always pretty during the week and storms on the weekend. William, it has been kind of some bad luck when it comes to storms on the weekend, right? Very much so. You know, I would say this. If you're going to go, I don't want to say don't cancel your plans. Like, just, I don't know, like, I mean, can you do something if it's raining a little bit too? I mean, it's not like one of those things where it'll rain every single minute of the day, but there'll be like times when it's raining. So if there's things you can do, maybe that don't require to be outside. I don't know the situation you're in, but try to make it a great day if you do go, and maybe another weekend might be a better weekend if you have that opportunity too. Okay. Evelyn says, good night to Brad. Brad must be on. Adam, these summer storms are awesome, but also these winds can do as much damage as a small tornado could. Yeah, I saw something posted today. I just want to clarify too. I saw it was one of these weather pages, and some lady was like, she was talking about microbursts. She goes, microbursts are just like tornadoes. No, they're exactly the opposite, but they can cause the same kind of damage. Whether you have straight line winds of 70 or 80 miles an hour or an EF0 tornado that's an 80 mile an hour wind maker, they're still going to cause a lot of damage. It doesn't have to be a tornado. So sometimes when you have these gusty winds, you know, sometimes when people will come on and be like, is there really a severe threat tomorrow? It just depends on what your severe criteria is. I mean, if you have some damaging winds that put a tree on the top of your house, then that's severe, right? I mean, even if that wind's not even 60 miles an hour, it can still happen. So, but that's a good point right there. Where did I leave off? Lightning can cause a lot of damage too. Adam's talking about that too. Tegan says, just thunder, no rain, no clouds, just could hear the thunder. It was weird. It was actually east of you, and then it just fizzled out and never made it to like where you live in Albertville. Christine, when do you think will be the next break from the humidity? Any major heat, any relief? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. We by Gate 7. You live by Gate 7 Zert Road. Okay. Thank you for the nice comment. I really appreciate that. Caught me off guard. But when do you think the next break of humidity will be? September? No, I'm just kidding. Maybe a little bit by the end of next week. Hope that works. We break the major heat here for a little while, which is good. All right, I appreciate all the comments, everybody. I have got to go. It is 9:52, and I just noticed that. So 10 o'clock, Margot and I will be on. We will have the very latest for you, news, weather, Carl, sports. We got it covered. Everybody have a fantastic night, and we'll talk again soon, okay?